Good morning, Commissioners. There is a difference between exercising one's First Amendment right to free speech and what you refer to as personal attacks. I am here to exercise my right to free speech about the conduct of Houston County officials in the course of county business. On page 1 of the handout you're receiving is an email message sent to you by Jackie Baker regarding her concerns about the Erickson mine. On page 2, you see the message was forwarded to Zoning Department Head Rick Frank by Judy Storley with the comment, "Sorry to share this with you, but jerks seem to outnumber decent people lately." Wow. Nice. Rick Frank then forwarded the message to Bob Scanlon and Brian Pogodzinski. Scanlon, in turn, forwarded the entire series of messages to Jackie Baker's employer, St. Mary's University. In his message, he asserts that they would be held liable for the actions of Ms. Baker. This demonstrates clear, malicious intent on the part of Bob Scanlon to harm Jackie Baker's employment. Jackie Baker's email message apparently also made its way into the hands of Tracy and Michelle Erickson, who sent yet another message to her employer on page 3. Who gave Scanlon permission to send this message to Jackie Baker's employer? The actions of the zoning administrator clearly demonstrate a lack of impartiality required by your own code of ethics. But these actions go beyond the retaliatory actions we've seen repeatedly in the past to a level of behavior that can only be described as harassment. Since Houston County has no county administrator, it is the county board's responsibility to manage employees. It is therefore your duty to take swift and decisive action to make it clear this kind of intimidation, retaliation, and harassment will not be tolerated. Thank you.
Good morning. I am David Williams of Williams Consultancy in Fillmore County. This past weekend, the Bakers received a written notice from Scanlon informing them that their house violated the county zoning ordinance because it is located too close to the Erickson mining site. You have a copy of Scanlon's letter to the Bakers that I just am passing off to you. Scanlon's letter is dated May 7, 2013, but that's an error. It's actually 2014. The Bakers built their house in 2005, long before Erickson had even purchased his property in 2009. The Bakers had obtained a setback variance and permit from the county from that very same Bob Scanlon, who then measured the distance of their house to the neighboring mining site at 700 feet, well beyond the Bakers' approved setback variance. In his recent letter, Scanlon warned the Bakers that their house must either be moved or torn down if they do not obtain an after-the-fact variance. Also this past weekend, Rosemary Iverson, another neighbor of the Erickson property just north and above the proposed mining site, received a written notice from Scanlon claiming that her cabins violate the county zoning ordinance. Her cabins were built by the Thorsons, the previous owners from the Ericksons, and were properly permitted to the Thorsons. The Thorsons sold their cabins to Iverson. You have a copy of Scanlon's letter to Rosemary Iverson. Scanlon threatens to demolish her cabins. These letters are not some weird and random coincidence. They are part of Scanlon's aggressive attempt to intimidate neighbors of Erickson who have opposed the proposed mining of silica sand adjacent to their property. This is Scanlon's harassing and retaliatory behavior. There's absolutely no objectivity from Scanlon. His job is to be neutral in administering county zoning ordinances and permitting requirements. Yet Scanlon has continually shown bias towards Erickson. You need to get immediate control over Scanlon. He's out of control and about to subject your county to serious litigation.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Betsy Reedy from Money Creek. I am deeply concerned about the email which is attached to my notes, recently sent to the head of the State Environmental Quality Board from Houston County's Planning and Zoning Administrator. The tone of that note was highly unprofessional and totally inappropriate. There was no pretense of impartiality or even-handedness. On behalf of Mr. Erickson, the zoning administrator berated the head of the EQB, sounding more like an angry parent scolding a misbehaving child than a professional with a question he wanted answered. Tone communicates attitude, and the tone in that email is ugly, condescending, nasty, belligerent. That ugly email has been making the rounds of the Environmental Quality Board to the Commissioner of the DNR, the Commissioner of Health, the Commissioner of Agriculture, the head of the MPCA, the head of the DNR, etc. That is not good for Houston County. The tone of that note reveals a whole lot more about how things work here in Houston County than I'm sure any of you would like made public. As a resident and as an alternate on the EQB rulemaking committee, I am embarrassed. I cannot imagine how embarrassed and chagrined you all, as the commissioners of this county, responsible to and for the county, must have been when you read that ugly email. I don't believe you can ignore the damage that has been done to the county. I do hope you understand that many of us share your discomfort at what this says about our county, and I trust you will take immediate steps to ensure this does not happen again. Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Fields, Winnebago Township. You know, banning frac sand mining would make your jobs just so much easier. This Erickson mine situation is just a taste of the kind of legal fights the county can expect if you don't ban it. Tracy Erickson had a fair chance to present this case before a judge, was told no, and has now dumped this huge vat of sour grapes on your desks. I'm no lawyer, but this split with Minnesota Sands, it just looks like some kind of end run around the law. What I don't understand is why you all seem to be enabling him. It's not uncommon for a mining company to exceed what the law allows, even in those places where ordinances are enforced. In my case, it was a violation of the setback. The Erickson mine, there are already reports of numerous violations, but both cases eventually found their way into the courts and cost the county money. You're aware of the kinds of legal action going on in Wisconsin. Local governments finding themselves in courts when communities have tried to restrict ongoing frac sand operations. Or how about when the mining companies try to get townships to secede from municipalities? There's a whole host of ploys and tricks that are already being used, and you'll probably become familiar with many more of them if you permit this dangerous and destructive practice. If a lawsuit results from a vote to ban frac sand mining in Houston County, wouldn't it be cheaper and easier to fight that one legal battle rather than several of these kinds of legal end runs over and over, and then still have to deal with all the negative aspects of frac sand mining? I would much rather my tax dollars go toward keeping these people out than be spent engaging in wastes of time and money like the Erickson mine affair. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, I'm Sue Van Gorp from Yucatan Township, and I'd like to address the selective enforcement and intimidation of planning and zoning in Houston County. Perhaps you can explain to me why it is that virtually everyone who has spoken up against the Erickson mine or frac sand mining has had threats and actions taken against them. Obviously, I can't go into all of the specifics in my 2-minute soundbite, but I will be sharing literally a dozen such incidents with Tess and would like to be more than happy to lay it out for you after this meeting. Any and all violations of the Erickson mine and the attempts to illegally permit that mine are dismissed. Yet every minor infraction, real or imagined, is prosecuted if anyone has the courage to speak out against this permit. Also, many people have been threatened and intimidated for the same reasons. For example, we did not have a feedlot violation, and the situation has been identical on our farm for 25 years, yet we are accused of a feedlot violation because we spoke up. Many of these situations have been unchanged for 7 to 25 years, yet as soon as someone speaks out, they are reported. Many of these violations have been dismissed as ridiculous, and this is prosecutorial misconduct. Will you commissioners discipline your employees, or will you wait until someone gets hurt? If you do not take action to control and discipline your employees, we will go to the press. And the whole rotten story is going to come out to protect our safety and our property. Scanlon continues to be a tool for Tracy Erickson by selectively enforcing the ordinances. This is harassment of Houston County citizens and an obvious abuse of power. Thanks.
Donna Buckley, Buchanan Township. I know that you have these 2 documents in your packets. One is from Bob Scanlon to Tracy Erickson, and the other is from Jay Squire saying that the Erickson permit has expired and that there would be an EAW required to get a new permit. But I want to say, I'm the person going door knocking around this county. There are hundreds and hundreds of people who have signed a petition so far to ban frac sand mining in Houston County. I have predominantly, in fact, only gone to your districts, Commissioners Walter and Storley. So of these hundreds and hundreds of people who have signed this petition to ban, are they jerks too? Are they jerks to you? Commissioner? Are they jerks? Are they jerks? Are they jerks to you, Commissioner Chomey?
As our public comment period has come to an end, I think Ryan